I'm super honored to be with you guys. I've been talking to the Lord the last few days about what we're going to talk about today, and I still don't know. That's kind of a joke. I have an idea, but he tends to get all up in my business. So I'm hoping that happens. I hope he mixes it up with us today. But he's here, so thank God. God is here, so I don't have to do all the heavy work. Thank God. I have a couple of disclaimers I want to throw out there, or maybe hints or something. I'm not sure what the right term is for that, but just to give you some context for what you're about to experience, because I'm not a normal person. Great, yeah, I'm glad we're celebrating that. Ever since I was a kid, I could feel spiritual energy, which sounds weird. I tend to use some language that the New Age community likes to throw around because I find that some of their verbiage is actually way more helpful than Christianity language. Sometimes we use words in Christianese, that a lot of us don't know what we're talking about. We know what that means. And I'm like, I've not found an identity. I couldn't identify with some of our terms and verbiage. Whereas, like, some of the things that the New Age people are saying, I'm like, no, that's actually how the spirit world works. That makes sense. Interesting. So, I am not a New Age person. I love Jesus. I'm sold to Jesus. Like, I can't go anywhere else. But I might say some things in a way that's different than you're used to, and I do that on purpose because I want to bypass the tradition of religion, and I want to get to your heart. So growing up, I could feel spiritual energy I didn't have terms for this, I didn't understand it, but I was reacting to it. And so I could tell when something evil was going on, I could tell when something powerful was happening, I could tell when someone was lying, because truth is a spirit. And so truth is not just principles and rules and ideas. Truth is a person. And he has an agenda, and he's emotional, and he moves in a certain way. I'm talking about truth. Like, the Bible is the truth, right? Jesus is the truth. He is among us all the time. Whether we're aware of it or not, it doesn't change the fact that truth is either happening or he's not. In our conversations, in our relationships, in our values, right? So when people speak divorce from the spirit of truth, you can feel it. It's dead. When they say stuff, it just crumbles. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm like, oh, that's not true. And it's fascinating because that isn't just on religion or spirituality. It's on everything. So I've had people tell me things about their personality or their history, and I'm like, oh, that's not true. And I don't know. I grew in this gift to learn, to understand, and figure out how it worked. And so I got to a place where I was confident that what I know is real. And so there's one, just to give you an example, I was in my study at a house I was living at a few years ago, and I had somebody that was in the study with me, and we were talking, and I met her maybe twice before this moment. So we're processing through some things that she was working through in her life and her heart, and things that were coming up that weren't awesome. And then this line comes out of her mouth, well, I'm shy. And when she said it, I was like, oh, that's not true. And I don't know this girl, but I knew that was like a huge thing that was keeping her from reality. And I was like, oh. And she's like, yeah, I've always been shy, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't agree. She's like, you don't agree with what? I was like, I don't think you're shy. She's like, and it was awkward because I don't know her. And so she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't think you're shy. That's not what I feel when your spirit comes out of you. She's like, no, I am shy. She argued with me for 2 minutes. She just went to town. She gave me a list and a history of how she's shy. And I was like, okay, I get that you have experiences, you have evidence to prove to you, to convince you that you're shy. I just don't feel that in what's coming out of you. That's not what your spirit is. You're not shy. And so I described what her spirit was like to me, what I experienced when she speaks. Because when people speak, their voice carries energy, right? And it releases a frequency. I sound crazy. People's voices release energy, and you guys, Dr. Jorge was talking about, and Jerry, we weren't all there. We talk about communication is 7% what you say, right? And the rest of it is body language and tone of voice and all that. And I'd like to propose there's actually something way deeper than that going on. There's energy coming out of people, and we feel where that's coming from. Whether we understand it or not, a lot of us react to that stuff, and we can interpret it through, tone of voice or facial expressions or body language, and that's all connected. But the spirit world is where all this stuff is coming from. So every time you speak, your spiritual agreements are coming out of you. Amen. The things that you say yes to in your life, the things that you've given ascendancy in your world come out when you speak. And so I can feel that stuff. And so I'm like, here's what I feel when you speak. And I told her what her spirit was made of. I described it in the realm of her personality and how she would influence her environment. And I just threw it out there, and she was like, huh. She asked a couple questions, and then literally, I'm not kidding, 2 minutes later, she's going, oh my gosh, I'm not shy. I'm not shy. And then she started giving me example after example after example of how she's actually really bubbly and really like outgoing and all stuff. And at that point in my life, I was still like figuring this stuff out. I checked out. I stopped listening to her. I was so annoyed. I was like, God, what the heck? How many people am I going to talk to like this who have no idea what's going on in their life? Who don't know who they are. They don't know what they're made of. They believe all these things that are not true about how they're supposed to live. And I just have to what? Pretend like I don't know that stuff? Pretend like what they're saying is real? Sure, I believe you. You know, it was exhausting. So I got to go on a journey. And I'm going to randomly swig on this because I'm having some vocal stuff, so bear with me. Maybe I'll swig while you guys are laughing. So anyway, I just want you to know that that's context of where I'm coming from a little bit. The way I experience the world we live in is painfully spiritual. I can't get away from it. Because a lot of people are not living on that level. Most people are operating from the soul realm. What they feel, what they think, what they want. Like that's where they trade most of the time. That's all they think about. That's all they like value. That's all they assess. That's all they analyze. That's all they receive. Like it's just on that plane. So if they don't have an awareness of something deeper, our language tends to conflict a little bit. Where we're going, how we're going to get there, it tends to be a little different. So I've had to spend my whole life, for the most part, trying to find the ways to speak to the locals of this planet. How do they talk? Why do they talk? Why is it like that? So all that to say, I'm going to say some things that might not sound normal, and I totally mean them. I mean it. So there's that. Whatever that lands, just so you know, I've warned you. And I just kind of want to share a little bit about my story just to get us started so you guys have some context for where I'm coming from. I was born in Guam, which is an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's a U.S. territory. So my parents got saved when I was 4. And so they took me to a Baptist church, and I was told in the first experience in Sunday school that if I don't accept Jesus in my heart, I'm going to burn in hell forever. And I was like, what's hell? What's eternity? I've never heard these words before. And apparently, I was going to go to a place that was on fire, and my body would not be destroyed, so I would just burn for eternity. And I was like, what? And the only way you could escape this nightmare was to invite Jesus into your heart. And I was like, I'll take Jesus. Okay, wow. I'll take part of it too. You guys are laughing a little too hard at that. Okay, so I started going to private school and I started learning the Bible and religion. And I got indoctrinated with the Baptist religion really early. And I say that on purpose because we've got all these denominations. You guys, these are religion. And I have a value for moral code, for ethics, right? For learning how to walk with God. But I've found that there's a spirit in the world. Oh, I've got another disclaimer I've got to throw out there. Okay. In 1 Corinthians 12, there's a list of spiritual gifts that Paul talks about, right? The gift of speaking in tongues. That gift is freaking weird. The interpretation of tongues, healing, miracles, prophecy, knowledge, wisdom, and then there's this really weird one in there that I had zero value for most of my life. It's the ability to distinguish between spirits. Discernment. And for the first 2/3 of my life, I was like, I don't care about that. That means nothing to me. Spirits aren't real. I don't know what that means. I had zero value for that because I didn't believe in spirits. And then, I got to go on a journey and discover how this world actually works, what it's actually made of, right? And I discovered that spirits are very real. They're more real than a lot of things we actually take into account to consider reality, right? And so there's a spirit in the world called religion. And this spirit tries to take the words of God apart from the Spirit of God and enslave us. Right? The spirit of religion takes the Bible, scripture, it's in the Bible. It takes verses and says, you have to live like this now. You're stuck this way. You cannot have that. You can't be this. This is how you have to live. And it feels like reduction. It feels like bondage. But it's in the Bible, so we have to. That's what I lived under for a long time, before I knew how the spirit world worked, right? But there's a spirit in the world called religion that takes what God said and meant for your good and turns it into your destruction, right? So I say the religion, the Baptist religion, because I was taught a lot of things about God and Christianity that are not coming from the heart of God. Control, performance, pretending, trying to earn stuff that God gave me freely before I ever knew he existed, right? Like, religion does that to us. And so, anyway, I went to private school. I literally had to memorize passages of scripture to get a grade. I was hiding his word in my heart that I might not get an F. And so, that was an owl moment, dang it. So I learned how to be a good Christian boy early on, and I was really good at it. My dad's Asian, right? So we learned how to follow the rules and get it done. So I learned religion really fast, and I was really good at it. Fast forward, I was probably about 18 or 19, and I'd been a Christian for a long time. I was pretty professional at this point. And I was actually like the leader in my community. Everyone loved me, respected me, believed in who I was, and was like, man, he's the epitome of what it means to be a Christian. I was so humble, I was so kind, I was so godly. And it was kind of a scary place because I was bored. I was over it. And I wouldn't say this out loud because they would have like crucified me. But I was like, this is boring. Church is boring, Christianity's boring. And I was thinking, like, just getting really honest with myself. I'm like, what's so good about what we have? What are we inviting people into? Right. What's so exciting about Christianity that someone could leave drugs and sex and rock and roll to sing Kumbaya with us on Sunday morning? Like, what's so exciting about this? What's so empowering? What's so liberating about this? This sucks. And I started processing with a couple of my friends, and I noticed they were getting kind of freaked out. Like, you can't talk like this. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I don't mean that. I just got to talk to the Lord. God, this sucks. I had reached, in my mind, the pinnacle of Christianity, and it wasn't that good. This can't be it. Because if it is, I'm over it. And then one day, random Sunday morning, I was at church. Because I was a good Christian boy. I went to church. It was a normal Sunday, normal worship songs. I'd heard these before. I'd sung them with my fellow church members so many times before. But this day was different. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't tell you why. But we sang this song about God being all that we're about. He's all we'll worship. He's all our life will be about. And in that song, for some reason, today, conviction happened. And God pulled something out of me I had no idea was there. And he exposed to me, Mike, everything about your life is about you. Your relationships, your time, your money, your energy, your religion, your ministry. It's all about you. And he was so right. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. And I was like devastated because, you know, when someone next to you tells you something about your life that's not awesome, you take it on the chin. Oh, I hate you, but thank you, I think. Oh, you need to work through it, right? When God tells you something's not right, that is not the experience. Because when God says something, he's right. And he's not just right from an authority standpoint, he's right in quality and nature and intention. Mike, this is all about you. And I just started crying because I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know how I didn't see this. The next song was about knowing Jesus and how he's all that we want, and everything about our life, we just want to know Jesus. And every time before this, I would have been like, this song is so dumb. And I never would have said that out loud, but it was not in my heart, right? But this time it was different. All of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I woke up to this very deep, sincere, intense longing. I had no idea I had this whole time. But all of a sudden in that moment, I realized this was really familiar. This was really old. I hadn't experienced this in a long time. This really intense, aching desire to know Jesus. And I couldn't want that before because Jesus died 2,000 years ago. And then he rose from the dead and then went into the clouds and disappeared. He left the planet. Jesus isn't here. I didn't say that to anybody. I knew I couldn't say that, but that's actually what I believed. I didn't know that till that moment, but I didn't think Jesus was available. So I couldn't want to know him. He's not here, right? I know this sounds blasphemous, but this is where I was at. For the first time in my life, all of a sudden that desire was validated. You could have this. I don't know how to tell you how I understood it. I just did. All of a sudden, I could know Jesus. It was a possibility because Jesus is alive. Jesus is here. And you guys, he's not some energy. He's not some ethereal, wispy spirit. He's not some power in the world. He's a person. Jesus is a man. He's a human being. I'm going to fall off this stage. God so loves us, so desires intimacy and connection, that forever, for eternity, he identified himself with us, as us. There's a human being in the middle of the Trinity forever. So, the curtain was pulled, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, Jesus is here. I can know him. I can have a relationship with him. And that's all I want. I want to know him so bad. I want to know him so bad. So I'm weeping pretty hard. Cannot believe this could happen. That this is a possibility. It's like all of a sudden you realize for the first time in your life, the very thing you wanted your whole life is actually available. You could have it. My why.
That's good.
Finally, there you are. Where have you been? I've drawn so many onions. And then after the church service, I'm in the parking lot with a friend of mine in her car. I'm just trying to process what happened to me because this is so new and different. I'm trying to describe, you don't understand. We could know Jesus. And I sound crazy, and I've never lost my composure in front of another human being like this before in my life. I'm Asian. We don't do that. We don't have emotions. Please. That's for weak people. And so I'm in the car. And while I'm trying to explain to her what happened, I hear Jesus somewhere inside me, and he says, Mike, you don't believe in me, but I still believe in you. And I was like, how can he be like this? Who is this person? How can he be like this? Growing up in religion, we threw around words like glory, holy, holiness. These weird words don't mean anything. She knows what I'm talking about. They don't mean anything to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because when people talk, I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't feel anything when you say it. Nothing's happening, right? So, fast forward. It's probably like a year later. I have this new, renewed vigor, oh, Jesus is here. We're not alone. Thank God. And I'm going to this, college group every Friday night. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, every Friday night, my world was changing. Worship would start, these rock stars would be on stage, stringing the guitar, and the lights would turn off, and they're just ushering us into the presence of God. And their skinny jeans and rock star haircuts. And then, I wasn't there anymore, and this presence was in the room that I had never experienced before in my life. And for the first time, I finally discovered what holiness was. Because he was there. God was in the room. And it's not like he wasn't there before, but for some reason this time I knew it. I could feel him. Terrifyingly so, I could feel God. He was so different than I had ever been told. Or maybe that I could understand. Maybe people tried to explain it to me and they were emotional, so I wrote them off. But he was holy. Like, you guys, God is different than us. He's different than nature. He's different than plants and animals. He's different than the stars, than people. He's different. Like, he's holy. Like, the quality within which he exists is different. Like, he's so, and here I'm going to try and explain it, and I might not get it, and we're going to have to move on. He is pure, like clean. He's innocent. Like, he's so vast and intense and powerful, and in every square, tiniest part of him is purity. Like, so kind, gentle, lowly of heart. And I couldn't handle how clean this person was and how for me he was. How interested in serving me he was. I couldn't handle it, so I just bawled my eyes out. And it wasn't like cute, humble Christian crying. Like, I was freaky. I had like pools of my own body fluids in my hands after worship was over. The lights would turn on, I'm like, I'm like Smeagol in the middle of the row, like, I'm like holding, I'm not joking, like I had a handful of my snot in my hands. Because I was just, I don't know, I was being cleansed or whatever. And I didn't know, like I remember one time, there were no tissues anywhere, I didn't want to like attract any attention to myself, and I was like, and I looked down and I brought a canvas bag with me. No! And a streak of shiny snot across my bag. And I just hope nobody saw because I didn't want to talk about it. Because I was just like, my soul was being pulled out of my face. I was like, this happened every Friday night for 6 months. And then it started happening outside of Friday nights. I'd be driving to work and I would just like think about Jesus and I would start bawling my eyes out. I had to pull over one time because I was crying so hard I couldn't see. Because like I just couldn't believe that he was real. Yeah. Like no one prepared me for this person. No one told me how beautiful he was. He's the most beautiful person I'd ever met. I couldn't believe it. He was wrecking me, right? Okay, we're gonna fast forward. What time do I need to be done? 2:30. Now, 2:30 and now I'm confused. Okay. Who cares where you're going? Just go. So, fast forward, I'm 20 years old. I'm working at an in-home design company in downtown Portland. Because I don't know who I am. I don't know what I was doing with my life. I was so afraid of the future and significance and like belonging that I got a job. I couldn't go to school. I didn't want to get a degree and go into debt for something I wasn't sure I wanted. I'm Asian. I don't even know what that means. So I'm working. I'm like 20 years old, and there's like 35 to 50-year-olds working with me. I'm like, what am I doing? I went on a trip to San Francisco with some friends. We were there 4 days. It was amazing to come back. It's Monday morning. I'm bumming hard. Like, my life sucks. What am I doing here? Like, why am I working here? What am I doing? So around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I've gotten over my slump. I'm back to my same optimistic self. And I look over down the aisle from me, and there's a woman named Margaret who's a Christian. And I think, oh, Margaret's a Christian, and I'm a Christian. We should be Christians together in this environment. That was my thought. Okay, and then from that moment, I look away from Margaret, and then here's where we're going to get a little weird. Time changed. It like fractured into 4 different sections of time, right? It was like... And by the time I looked at my screen, I could not hear anything. I was just sitting in this like void, this silence. And in that silence, I heard someone took the voice, I think my thoughts in my head with, and talked to me. And I heard, Mike, what are you doing here? And I was like, you're not supposed to be here. I have something else for you. Yeah. And then everything went back to normal. And I was like, I jumped up, went to the bathroom, paced back and forth, looking at myself in the mirror, like this. I was like, I think God just talked to me. I think God just talked to me. I think God just talked to me. I'm not kidding, like over and over again, back and forth, for maybe a couple minutes. Thank God no one walked in, I would have been fired. Over and over again, just walking back and forth. I think God just talked to me, because I had never experienced anything like this. This is like a movie, you know what I mean? Like, this doesn't happen to people. Or I'd heard it happen to people, but those people were crazy, so... I'm losing my mind, cool. I think God just talked to me. I was freaking out. because something happened to me when he said it. I didn't know all that was going on in the moment, but looking back, like the moment he told me he had something else for me, this spirit of poverty that had such a clench on my soul lost its hold on my life. And I didn't need money to validate my existence anymore. I didn't need a job or position to prove that I had worth anymore. Because my dad had a plan. I didn't have to do this by myself, right? So I'm stoked. I quit my job in my heart. I actually got promoted and took over a different department within that time, but in my heart I was like, no, this is awesome. I don't have to be here. Because the Bible calls that freedom. I was free. And that freedom gave me a choice. It didn't mean I had to follow Jesus. It meant I got to choose whatever I wanted. So, fast forward, long story short, I moved to Japan. You're not supposed to be here. So it's like, okay. And I knew it meant geographically, vocationally, relationally, I wasn't supposed to be around any of this. So I left all of it, which was scary and intense, but I did. I moved to Japan. I had a 2-minute freak out on the plane ride over. this is the closest thing I've ever had to a panic attack. I was freaking out. What have I done? I've ruined my own life. No one there knows me. I don't know Japan. I don't know Japanese. 2 minutes. Silently as a Japanese person in my seat. Right away. Freaking out. But then I was like, you're fine, stop. You're going crazy. You're fine. Like, they're humans. They're going to be fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, fast forward. First Sunday, I'm in Tokyo, downtown Tokyo, and we're at a church service, and there's this team. Oh, we're going to get weird again. There's this team from a place called Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry. And I was like, what? Is that like Harry Potter for Christians? What are you talking about? What is supernatural ministry? To make matters worse, because I'm Baptist. There were 2 girls who were there, and then a guy. The leader of the 3 of them had long blonde dreadlocks and wearing a bandana. He looked like a granola, like straight up hippie. Like, smoking weed, has his own kiln, like this guy's a hippie. And the 2 girls are wearing like scarf type things in their hair with huge hoop earrings and bangles and like draping tops. They look like fortune tellers. And the fortune teller in pink stands up and she's like, when we point at you, will you please stand up? We're going to tell you what God is saying about you. I was like, what the heck? So they start pointing at people stand up, they say stuff, it gets translated into Japanese, and people start freaking out. They start bawling their eyes out, they fall on the floor. This one woman ran to the front of the room, and like right here, she started doing jumping jacks. And I'm a Baptist. I'm like, what is going on? I'm in Japan, this is crazy. There are fortune tellers at the front of the church, what's happening? And then the girl in pink points at me. I'm like, And my friends who are sitting next to me, they're all like, ooh. So I stood up. Oh, crap. And then she starts telling me secrets about me that I'd never told anybody. That I just talked to God about because I couldn't talk about them out loud, otherwise people would think I was full of myself. It was the anointing on my life. The way that I affect people. She starts describing it to me in detail. And I'm like, I've been talking about this with God for 3 months. I've never told anybody. This is creepy. I mean, this might be God. It was so in line with what I've been talking to God about. I was like, this might actually be God. I was shocked. Okay, fast forward. The next week, we did a treasure hunt. Where basically we get together, we pray, and we ask God to show us who in public spaces we should go look for. What are they wearing? What do they need prayer for? What parts of the place are they going to be found at? Literal details that you get in your brain from Jesus. These people are crazy. And so I'm freaking out because I'm the most charismatic, leader-like person in the class. I was doing a discipleship training school with Youth with a Mission in Japan. That's why I went there. So I had 4 other people in my class, which was a tiny, tiny class. And all of them were scared. None of them were going to lead this. So I was like, I told my leader, I'm like, if we do this, I'm going to be the one looking like a moron on the streets for Jesus. We're not doing this. We can't do this. He's like, you're right, Mike, you can't do this. God's going to have to do it. And I was like, I hate you. So we went to downtown Tokyo. We prayed. So we had this huge circle of like 20 people, and we're all standing there like crazy people in a public space. So Japanese people are walking around us, you know, and we're all just like, okay, we're going to pray, and we're just going to invite the Holy Spirit to tell us what to look for. I'm like, wait, is this for real? They're really going to do this? So everyone's just standing there, and they're like, okay, let's just pray. We'll invite the Holy Spirit, and I'm looking there with my eyes open. Everyone else is like, and I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh, God, help me. Please. And I'm realizing I'm getting to the end of myself. I can't make this happen. So I'm like, God, please, tell me. Anything you want, I don't care, I'm listening. I can't make this happen. Help. If you want to say anything, however you want to say it, I'm listening. So then I saw a pink and purple hula hoop roll across my screen. I'm like, oh, great, my imagination is making stuff up. This sucks. And then there's this white rock with holes down on the ground next to me, and then I saw this guy in a yellow jacket with yellow pants picking something up in the field. And this orange flower up here, and this woman in this certain kind of skirt, and then I saw this gray tarp. And I saw like 15 different things, right? So we're done. Oh crap! And we had like a minute. I'm like, we're done? God hasn't talked to me yet. My mind is still just making stuff up. Wait. And so they break us up into groups of like 5. And so I go to my group. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell anybody I saw anything because I didn't hear anything. Like, I'm not hearing from God. I'm not holy enough. So I get to my group, and they're all like saying a couple things they saw. I'm like, well, great. I can't be the only person who didn't see something. So I told them everything. So a hula hoop, and I saw this rock, and a tarp, and a guy in a yellow jacket, yellow pants, blah blah. And so they read on all this stuff. And this Japanese guy on my team was like, we don't have gray tarp in Japan. I was like, what the heck, man? We don't have gray tarp in Japan. It's only blue. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, what about this yellow jacket, yellow pants? Like, is it one piece, like a jumper or what? And this guy walked by in his one piece, like blue jumper. He's like, that? I was like, no, it's a jacket and it's pants and they're yellow. I'm sorry. I don't know. So we go around looking for stuff on our lists. We don't find anything for an hour. We go back to meet up with everyone. And while we're walking, someone's like, Mike, look. And they point, and there's this little homeless shelter that was erected, and a gray tarp was used to make the roof. And I looked at the Japanese guy, and I was like, huh. Interesting, Japanese man. So we're trying to decide, should we go over there? What should we do with this information? And while we're deliberating, the most skeptical guy on our team points across the street and he's like, Mike, is that your guy? And I look, and there's a man in a yellow jacket with yellow pants getting into his van, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. I literally just like couldn't function. I was like, and he starts driving away, and I'm like, so one of the women on our team runs in front of his van waving her arms. She's like, wait! And in Japan, you don't do this. And she's what? It's humiliating. And so he pulls over because the crazy American woman is going to like get hit. He pulls over. She's like, I'm sorry, sir, but we really feel like God wants us to pray for you. And he's like, which God? She's like, Jesus. He's like, okay. So he gets out of his van. And we're like, is there anything we can pray for you for? He's like, oh, my back hurts. Okay, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how bad's the pain? He's like, oh, it's like an 8 or 9. It hurts pretty bad every day, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, great, let's pray for it. We believe God's going to heal you. So I'm like, okay, we're going to pray. Oh, this is freaky. What are we doing? I've never done this before in my life. Put our hands on him. We declare his back to be healed. Yeah. For like 20 seconds. And then we're like, hey, can you test it out? I'm like, what? Test it out? I'm going to get healed. He's like, oh, yeah, it's 50% better. I'm like, I can't do this. Oh, can you pray for my ear and pray for my and he's feeling heat and all this stuff's happening. I'm like, oh, God. So, okay, stuff like that happened multiple times while we were in Japan. This is a trip. I don't know what to do with this, right? We go to Korea for a week for a prophetic worship study. Like, what does that even mean? What are we doing? You people are crazy. So we have this night where we walk around and prophesy to each other. So push all the desks away and we walk around and we're going to tell people what God's saying about them. I'm like, great, I get to make up more stuff. Because I don't know how to prophesy. So we walk around, we're just prophesying over each other. I'm like, oh, I feel this and I see this, whatever. So these Korean people are saying stuff to me. I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. Oh, I think that's God, interesting. And then this British dude comes up. He's the leader of the school that I'm part of. Super quirky guy, doesn't have his big left toe. Giant gray afro, like super quirky dude. He walks up next to me, so I'm standing here just like waiting for this thing to be over. He's standing next to me, hello. And I'm like, hi John. He's like, I have a word from God for you. Okay? I saw you dancing in the woods. With strong, powerful dance moves. And I'm like, this is so dumb. And I'm thinking that the analytical scientist in me is like, how can you tell the difference between someone who's making stuff up and people who are actually hearing from God? Making stuff up, actually hearing from God. But he was watching me and he saw me write down other people's things, so I was like, oh, dancing in the woods, the song of the dancing. But we move on, right? So at the end of my DTS, people are like, what are you going to do when you get back? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. So I start praying, God, please, tell me what to do. Don't leave me alone. Tell me what I'm supposed to do next. So I go to Guam for 10 days just to visit, check out my homeland, right? See all the people I saw back in the day. And back then I was bleach blonde. I wish I didn't tell you that, actually. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm in Guam, hanging out, and one night, I have jet lag, so I'm praying at like 4 in the morning. I'm like, God, I want my life to just be a place, or a window that you can express yourself, you can pursue what's in your heart. I just want to be at least one person on the planet. I'm so holy. One person that you could actually express yourself to, right? And I fell asleep praying that. And then that night I had a dream. I was standing outside of Jesus' tomb. You guys have promised this is all going somewhere. I'm standing outside of Jesus' tomb, and Jesus is buried, and I'm arguing with this woman. And I'm trying to get where Jesus is, and she won't let me. And she's like, okay, fine. We'll get in there, we'll get his garments, and you can have those, but you have to drop this. And his blood is no longer on my company's hands. I was like, no, I want his dreams back from the dead. And I woke up, dead at night, and I was like, oh, that matters. Something just happened. This is important. And so I zombied my way across the room, found my journal, and wrote down everything I could remember. Went back to sleep. Super weird. And the next morning I woke up, I'm like, I want his dreams back from the dead. What does that mean? Interesting. Is God talking to me? Oh, is he talking to me? So I moved back to Oregon, right? I've been there for a couple weeks, and I'm seriously considering moving back to my old apartment, getting my old job back, going back to everything I had before I left. Everything God told me I wasn't supposed to be part of, right? And you read stories in the Bible of people who God did amazing things in their lives, and then they go back to weird, small living, to weird, fearful, I'm guilty as charged. I wanted to move back to everything I had. So I was spending the night in my old apartment, and I woke up that morning, hit snooze on my phone, and then, there's my voice in my head again, and someone's talking with it again. And I hear, I almost didn't catch it, so subtly, this is not the cemetery I brought you to. What does that mean? My spirit knew exactly what he meant. The rest of me did not want to know that. So for 4 months, I pushed it off. The only place I could think to go, if I wasn't supposed to stay where I was Bethel Church in Redding, California. Those crazy people. That's the only thing I could think of. I didn't want to live in Redding, though. It was like a rest area. You don't live in Redding. It's like somewhere you stop on the way to where you want to go.
Yeah,
I don't want to live there. And so I'm from Portland. There's no culture in Redding. It's only white people. They're going to kill me. So 4 months, I push it off. Don't engage it again, and I go for walks every day. God, please, whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say, just talk to me. Please don't leave me alone. And he would not speak. 4 months. Until one day, I come home at the end of an amazing day, close the door of my bedroom. I'm living with my parents, so it couldn't have been that amazing. I love my parents. It's just, going back. Anyway, close the door. I felt a spirit of frustration come into the room. And I sat there and I said, I know you're here. And something in me broke. I was like, I can't stay here. I have to go. So a week and a half later, I moved to Redding, California. Everything changed. God just started moving in my life. It was amazing. I went on a walk one day, and I used to go to this place called the Sundial Bridge in Redding and walk in the area and just kind of get off the gravel area so people couldn't see me because I would talk to God out loud. I didn't want to get locked up. So I just get away from the road, just talking to God. And one day I was so excited because God was changing my life, and I was living by faith, actually. And I didn't need people to give me money. I was living by trusting God. That he was leading me, right? And so I was so excited. I was buzzing with all this hope and faith. I was like, oh my gosh, my life is amazing. God, you're so amazing. And then all of a sudden something hit my body. This energy hit me. And I couldn't just laugh it out. I couldn't just like express my way out of this, like something was happening. I was like, and I needed to move. So I started running around and like jumping. And I did this weird kick twist thing in the air. And when I landed, I stood up and all I saw were trees everywhere. And I heard, I see you dancing in the woods with strong, powerful dance moves. And I was like, and then I started yelling at God. I was like, I didn't know what else to say. I started yelling, you're crazy. You're crazy. How can you be like this? I don't understand. You're crazy. I knew that was never going to happen. I was the only way that was ever going to happen, and I knew I would never do that. I would never. And then I got tricked. And I danced like a fool in the woods. And I loved it. It was incredible. And I was like, oh my God. And God told me that 6 months before that happened. Way before Bethel was ever on my consideration, before I ever knew I wasn't going to be living wherever. I had no idea where I was going to be. And he told me 6 months before, this is going to happen. Wow. It was crazy. I was like, this is incredible. Okay, fast forward. I did first and second year in the ministry school. David and Stacy and Colton went there, right? And Michaela. And Steve and Sandy. Anybody else? We all went there. I did first and second year, then I got hired on staff at Bethel in the events department, so I administrated conferences for them, and I started I just kept getting promoted and kept being given opportunities to lead and influence, and I'm learning how to prophesy and heal the sick, and I've seen miracles, and I'm preaching, and it's crazy, right? All these amazing things are happening in my life. I become the face of Bethel on Bethel TV, and people from all over the planet recognize me from Bethel, because I'm the one telling them what's happening in the week. Weird, right? So I'm just experiencing this massive expansion in my life. I'm like, this is crazy. And then I remember every couple of years I would remember, I came to Bethel to find Jesus' dreams, get him back from the dead. So I'd consider, did this happen? Have I found him yet? Is it prophecy? Prophecy's pretty amazing, right? Telling people the future, what's going to happen. Speaking on behalf of God for someone, that's incredible. Is it prophecy? No, it's not prophecy. Is it healing the sick? Because healing people's bodies, that's incredible. You change their lives, right? They've had this thing they've struggled for years, right? And all of a sudden, everything's working great. That's incredible. Is it healing? No. Is it preaching the gospel? That's important, right? We need to advance the kingdom and preach the gospel. People need to get saved. Is that his dreams back from the dead? No. It's awkward. Is it becoming famous, influential, being a leader? Is that it? This is God's dreams back from the dead. No. Every couple of years, I just consider it. Still, no, hasn't happened yet. One day, a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I'm preaching at my parents' church. I'm invited to, right? It's worship. I'm considering, I've got these things I'm going to preach. And then this dream comes back to my memory. One of his dreams back from dead. I'm like, God, what is this dream doing here? Why is this here? And in that moment, God comes to me so subtly, I almost couldn't catch it, right? He's like, Mike, you've been all over the world. You've done all these things. I have been going hard, trying to do my best, doing everything I could. He's like, Mike, it's you. You're my dream back from the dead. I've been all over the world. I had led all these trips and influenced all these people, done all these amazing things. And I had it with me the whole time. The thing I was looking for, I had it with me the whole time. I'm crying. I'm like, oh, this is awkward because I'm about to get up on stage. And I realized in this moment, this is not just for me. This is not just about me. You are his dream, back from the dead. And that term, back from the dead, is actually really important in this equation. The Bible, Jesus talks about killing the old man, right? Yeah. Considering yourself dead to sin. Taking up your cross. All this stuff. Jesus is talking about this old thing needs to go away. Okay? And then the spirit of religion murders God. He gets nailed to a cross because he's breaking the rules. Because he's not doing what he's supposed to. Because he doesn't fit into Sunday morning. So we kill him, right? And on that cross, he says, it is finished. What's finished? the death that you needed to experience happened. You can't die the death you think you need to. You're literally incapable of killing yourself for God. Can't happen. So he says it's finished. What's finished? Your old, boring, religious, fearful self got crucified with Christ and went into the grave. And when he came back to life, he was something else. And so were you. What's important about what Jesus did is it's not just about Jesus. He didn't do this for him. Jesus didn't need to be remade. He didn't need to fix anything that he did wrong. All the things he went through were as you. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live. And this is not metaphoric. It's not poetic. It's literal. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, in this natural world, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. What's really going on here is that it was us and Jesus, right? And we're like, oh, I like Jesus. Oh, we're friends. Oh, I'm close to Jesus. We've got these things going on. It's not like this. You guys, we're not like this with Jesus. We're like this. Jesus killed that impotent, fearful, selfish, cowardly person and brought someone else back. He did that because you are his expression in this world. You are his dreams back from the dead. There's something you carry that no one else does. If you don't show up, we don't get to see it. If you don't bring who you are, you actually deny the world God. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify you. No, that's not how that goes. Let your light shine before men. Let them see how awesome you are. Let them see how powerful what you do is. Why? So they'll see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. When what is motivating you is coming from this passionate, beautiful, submissive love for Jesus, not religion, not performance, not doing what's right, forget what's right. Do what you want. You guys, that's dangerous, right? A lot of leaders who want to get the right results are like, oh, no, don't say that to my people. You guys, the law is concerned with right and wrong, and Jesus satisfied it. You are no longer under the law, but under grace. This is not about doing what's right anymore. This is not about right and wrong anymore. That whole measuring system is gone. There is no right or wrong anymore. I know that's awkward, but that's the truth. Right and wrong is done away with. It's old. There's a new covenant, and now grace governs you. So do whatever you find in your heart, because that's where life is found. That's where he is going to express himself. This is the only way we're going to change this place. The only way this world is going to, the kingdoms of this world are going to become the kingdoms of our God, is if we get out from under that slave-driven, performance, rule-based operating system and step into the liberation, the actual freedom that Jesus purchased on that cross. Some of you guys don't need to trust God, because the way you think trusting God is categorized incorrectly. The way you're going to trust him is by trusting this. Because he's here. He is not separate from you. The idea that you are having a relationship with God where he's separate from you is straight up from hell. That's not real. God is right here. He doesn't want to walk with you. He wants to be you with you. This is creepy. Creepy intimate. This is creepy intimate. He does not want a distinction between him and you. He wants to share your identity. And when he expresses the power and the glory that flows from what he is, he wants you to get credit for it. Because he's a dad. He's a good father. So he gives you these awesome ideas, and he sends you on your way, and sometimes you can't tell, is this God or is this me? I have given up trying to tell the difference because he doesn't care. He doesn't care! This isn't about God being awesome. That's not how he's chosen to glorify himself. This is about you being awesome, because when you shine, he is glorified. You guys quit clapping. You are his dream back from the dead. Jesus, I'm going to wrap this up close. We're almost there. Jesus, freely in synagogues, in the marketplace, he's preaching the kingdom. It's here. It's not far away. It's not going to come. The kingdom is at hand. It's not over there. It's not over here. It's within you, right? He's telling you something different than we've ever understood before. And it wasn't just for that culture. It is for the world. The kingdom is here, right? It's right now. And he's right here. You guys, this is not about going to heaven. Because the moment you met Jesus, you were seated with Christ in God. You were seated in heavenly places, right? Heaven is Jesus. I don't want to go to heaven if Jesus isn't there. My dad, my Japanese analytical dad, I love my dad, was asking me one day a couple years ago, because I was super emotional for Jesus. I just couldn't stop crying every time we talked about him. He's like, Mike, if you got to the end of your life and you found out that you weren't going to go to heaven, would you still serve God? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Why? If you know you're not going to get your mansions and your crowns and your whatever, I'm like, yeah, I would still do it. Why? Because, Dad, and this just came out of I didn't think this up. I never had this question asked, but it just came out. Because I don't want to go to heaven if Jesus isn't there. Totally sincere, right? It came up from a very real place. If Jesus is in hell, then that's where I want to go. Seriously. Because he got me. He saved my life. I don't want to go somewhere and have all this amazing stuff if I don't get to be with him, right? It's true. So, you guys, he's preaching the gospel in public, in the light, freely, so that we could get it. He's showing, he's healing the sick. He's talking about the future. He's telling them good news, God loves you, you're forgiven. Grace, right? He's demonstrating something different than what they knew in public, and we killed him. And 2,000 years later, I'm in Japan, we're praying for this guy who can't walk. He walks with a walker, and we're praying for his leg, and I realized, man, the community of believers that I've been part of up to this point in my life, we don't believe Jesus. We have good intentions, and we want to, but we don't. We don't heal the sick. We don't preach the gospel. We don't do these things in our lives. We're good people, but we didn't believe him. All the things he demonstrated, all the things the gospel accounted and showed, we didn't live those things out because we don't believe him, right? It's man, he did everything he could for us to get it. And then he died as us, put his spirit in us. This is not up to us anymore. You guys, you cannot please God. Okay, I'm going to say a couple sentences right now. They are true, whether you're offended or not. You don't have to go to church another Sunday in your life, and God will still be pleased with you. You don't have to love God. Period. That's true. You don't have to. What do we do with that? Guys, this love thing, it came out as a commandment, which is ironic because you literally can't do it. Be perfect as your Heavenly Father's perfect. That's awkward, Jesus. It's funny because we can't. Love God and love your neighbor. You guys, we literally can't do that. In English, we turn love into a verb. We're comfortable with that because we can control it. We can measure it. It's just not real. What we do is an expression of something more significant than that. Love comes before what we do. Love comes before what we think or feel or choose. Love is a spirit. Love is God. And we do all this stuff, we express him, and we choose because of him, but we don't have authority over God. We don't direct love. If love finds us worthy, it directs us. Right? Oh, okay. So, we talk about our whys. Our WHY apostrophe S, our whys. Why are you building this business? Why are you going to work? Why are you, whatever you're doing? Why? Jesus knew his why. That's how he was able to pull it off. See? He gave everything he had so that you, oh my. He gave everything he had so that you could come alive. So you would be free to choose. He didn't die so you'd love him. He died so you had a chance to choose whatever you wanted. Maybe love him. You're free to choose. No obligation, no requirement whatsoever. Those dreams you have in your heart, those things that you secretly wish, hope, daydream about, if they're in your spirit, if they're real, they're not yours. Guys, if your why is real, it doesn't actually belong to you. You didn't come up with that. If you remain in me and my word remains in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. In that place, the language of God shows up in the form of desire in your being. Your assignment is what you deeply care about. What you most want to have happen and accomplished in this life. It's him talking to you as your desire. So, we've got a couple people in this room. Can my ministry team come up? Ministry team, you know who you are. Please join me at the front. If anybody here needs a miracle in their body, these people here believe in Jesus. They've seen him do incredible things. They believe he can do the impossible. They believe that he will. And so, if you need a miracle in your body, we'd love for them to pray for you. If you don't know Jesus, if you've never met Jesus, if what I'm talking to you sounds really appealing, sounds interesting, whatever, but you're not sure what that looks like, and you want to meet Jesus, these people are happy to introduce you to him. He's happy to show you the truth, to show you what's really going on and set you free. And then there's this other group of us, those of you who have your why you're building your business, why you're going to work, why you're raising kids, why you're doing whatever you're doing. And the Lord has touched on it, and he's spoken to you, and he's doing something. And you want to follow further down that road of where this is going. But you need some help. We're happy to pray with you. Avery, can you strum? Would you go for that? Okay, I'm going to pray. And then we're just going to open it up for ministry. And those of you who want prayer, please feel free to come up. The rest of you, you're free to go swimming. Or whatever else it is that we do on Sunday at the beach. Or Steve, are you going to take over? Okay, I'm going to pray real quick and then let Steve take over. Ooh. Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, thank you for being with us. God, thank you that you lead us into all truth. God, thank you that your heart for us is good. That your intention for us is for our benefit. For our fulfillment. For our reward and satisfaction. Yeah, God, thank you that you're the safest place. Thank you that in you is our freedom. So Holy Spirit, we invite you to come and just blow in this place. To come show us what's real. To tell us what you're doing. To take us into that place of freedom. God, we say yes to the things you have planned for us. And we give you permission to take whatever you want. To ask of us whatever you want. To tell us whatever you want. However you want. In Jesus' name. Amen.